What is up? I like this. What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a Google Forms full settings walkthrough. Google Forms, as you know, is the GOAT when it comes to programs for educators and education. It's not just a survey situation, great for surveys, but it also can be great for assessments, feedback, full lessons can be through there. There are a countless number of things that you can do with Google Forms to help curate your class. And so with this session, I want to show you how to walk through all of the settings. Now, I feel comfortable with Google Forms. I've been using them for years. I love Google Forms, I use them all the time. Okay. I feel like I'm fairly proficient when it comes to Google Forms. However, every time I create a Google Form, before I send it out, I go through and check my settings. So I want to walk you through every single one of the settings so that you feel comfortable knowing what all of them are. And then you can come back here and view this at any time if you want to. So here we go. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm in my Google Drive, and let's minimize me and maximize my screen. A lot of people don't know this, but I have just this amazing voice, and you know that from just hearing it right now. It's okay. It's okay to be impressed, guys. You don't have to clap. Your applause is not needed. It's welcome. It's needed, but it's not needed. Okay, so let's hit this new up here in the upper left-hand corner, and then we're going to go down to Google Forms. Wah, wah. See that? It used to not be up here, but then it's like Google finally realized, oh, wow, we got the goat hanging out under more. No, goats don't hide. Goats thrive. Wow, not great. Okay, so we've got a blank Google form. Okay, now I'm going to kind of show you real quick my process, but then we're just going to go across the top. Like everything up here from left to right is what we're going to cover from here all the way over. All right, now keep in mind, hover is your friend. If you hover over any of this, see this? If I hover, Forms Home, that's going to take me to Google Forms Home. Anything you want to know about, if you hover over it, it's going to tell you what that is. Like this, I know that's a star. It doesn't need to tell me it's a star, but it's telling me I'm starring this. Here we go. Up here, I'm literally going across the entire top for this session. That's all I want to cover in this, so stay with me. Here we go. And first thing, let's do this. In the chat, in the comments, as you're watching this, go ahead and tell me what is the number one thing you use Google Forms for. So in the chat, in your notes, write down what you currently use it for a majority of the time. Is it quizzes? Is it full-on tests? Is it surveys? Is it just getting student information? What do you use it for? Tell me in the chat right now. Okay, so upper left-hand corner, we're at Forms Home. If I click this, it's going to take me back to my Google Forms Home. Now, a lot of people mix this up with Google Drive. Forms, docs, sheets, slides, they all have these locations that are specific to their program. Now, if you look over here at this little waffle, see that? This is the place you usually go to get to those specific locations. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I never go to the Google Forms Home or the Docs Home or the Sheets Home or the Slides Home. I don't ever go there. I go to my Google Drive, drive.google.com. That's where I go if I want to do anything with any Google program, because that allows me to organize it better. Now, let's say you have a bunch of templates or you want to utilize some of this template gallery, then go to those home pages. Personally, I don't. I make my form that I like with my header and all the stuff in my settings, and then I just take that form and I make a copy of it, but we're not in that. So you've seen what to do to get to Google Forms Home. We click this Google form in the upper right. Next one, untitled form. How many of you guys have just a plethora of untitled forms in, like, just chilling in your Google Drive? They need to be titled. You can't find what you want. Always title your docs, your forms, your sheets, your slides as soon as you get them. That way you can find them later. I'm going to show you a little shortcut. You can go here to the header, and I can type this in. I can call it Google Forms Beginner Session. Watch what happens when I hit enter. Look in the upper left-hand corner. Y'all ready? Oh, I didn't hit enter. I click on the next thing. All I have to do is click up here. Y'all ready? It turns it in. It's going to pull from the header. So after I type my header up, that's most of the work. I could just click where it says untitled form. Now, I can change it later if I need to, but it is good to go right there. Now, once I did that, did you notice what popped up? You see that folder? As soon as I add anything to this, anything at all to my Google form, what that's going to do is that is going to say, okay, this is a real form. This is not just something he created new and then never did anything with. Because if I didn't do it, it would make it disappear because I had nothing on it. It was pretty much a blank form. As soon as I added something, it created this folder. Now, whatever folder I was in when I created this, like let's say I went in and I was under my resources tab and I was in this, I don't know, forms folder right here. If I create a new form right here, it's going to automatically put it in this folder that I was in. However, I wasn't. Do y'all remember where I was? 10 points if you get it right in the chat. Where was I when I started it? I was just chilling on my drive. So that just throws it into this drive, and it's not an organization, in any type of organization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and I can sort this into a folder in my drive right now. So I always recommend to people, as soon as you start it, sort it. It is going to be so much easier for you to find it. Okay, so I click that folder. I don't have to bounce over to Drive. It's going to allow me to sort it right here. So I can go over and say, I want to put this in resources, and then I'm going to put it under forms, and I'm going to put it right here. Move here. Now, I could have created a folder inside there if I wanted. I'm going to hit move. Bam. I've sorted it. Okay, we're still working our way across. We're on the start. If I do this, that is now saying this is important. This is something that I want to find later. So if maybe I search my Google Drive for something, Google is going to filter this towards the top of that list. It's going to think it's important to me because I hit that star. Also, if I'm in my Google Drive, I can go to the left side under starred. Bam. It's going to pop up in this list. Now, granted, I have like multiple things in there, but now it's there. See it right there? Bam, 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 bam. That's from, what does that show? The Flintstones. Hey, the Flintstones. Okay, excellent. So we're still going. All changes saved in Drive. We're going to keep rolling over. Now, it's showing me, I can hover over. I can see the last edit that I made. Go in through there. I'm moving over to this. This is my add-ons. It looks like a puzzle piece. And when in my mind, how do I remember that? Whenever I'm using something with Google, these puzzle pieces help complete Google. Google in itself is a robust, incredible system with all of their programs. Add-ons, what those do is that extends the world. It's like iPhones are great. The apps make it as valuable as it is. So add-ons, I'm going to click here. I've only got 2 add-ons on here. I've got Doc Appender, and that's where I can like throw things into Google Docs from a form. It's really cool. And then I've got extended forms. Honestly, I don't even remember what this is. I bet it's really good or I wouldn't have downloaded it. What is extended forms? I don't even know. I bet it was good. Any add-ons you do, this is how you get to them. If I wanted to initiate either of these, I would click that and then go to that program. Next one, this I call it the Bob Ross. I got my little Bob Ross painter thing. Don't worry about that little guy. We're just gonna put that little tree right there. We're gonna click on this. This is where you can customize your theme. So I can click here, and now I'm gonna roll through all of these. Okay, so I can choose a theme color. So I can choose the colors here and just do a simple change of color, or I can choose my image. I can select from their set of themes. Say I want to hoop it up, Baller Teacher Playbook, whatever. I can click that and hit insert. It's going to add that photo to the top. What I always recommend to people is go to Canva, bit.ly/Tarver Canva. What's up? I'll actually toss that on the screen. Watch this. Check this. Check this. In the chat, let me know, are you on Canva? And if not, you better give me a good reason why not. Okay, so bit.ly/Tarver Canva. Sign up for an account. They're incredible. You can make a Google Forms header, and we're going to go, like, it's automatically picking the theme color based on what I chose. You see that? So beautiful. Now, let's X this. This is how I get rid of it. So I create a ton of Google Forms that are templates for teachers and students and parents or whoever to use. And I always put my Tarver Academy one up there. People every now and then they'll be like, how do I take your picture off there? I'm like, well, first off, that hurts. Why you hurt my heart like that? But, you know, I get it. This is how you do. You hit that little X right here, and it's gone now because I'm an image. But let's click this. Let's say I want to add an image. I can upload it directly if I have it, or I can search my photos, search Tarver Academy. Okay, clicking that. Here we go. Here we go. Where you at, little buddy? Okay, let's say Tarver Academy. I think I have a picture in here I would want to use. Where are you at? Look at all these photos. Hope there's nothing crazy. I don't think I have anything crazy. Here we go. Let's say I want to use this. Bam. I can click on it, click insert. Now I can resize it, put it where I want. Let's put it like right there. Look how beautiful that is. Hit done. I would recommend go to Canva at that link, create one, save it, title it however you want to find it later, and then use that as your header for all of your classes. It adds a really cool element of ownership for your classes and shows that it's yours, okay? I can change the theme color up. Let's make it look, ooh, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay, that's pretty fun. Background color I can choose. Oh my goodness, look at all these options. Okay, now I'm gonna roll down here, and the last one is I can choose my font style. Wow, time to get crazy, guys. You got basic, you got decorative, you got formal, and I got playful. Playful, that reminds me of that, not kids. What was it? Comic Sans, maybe? A little very Comic Sans. Marker. Is that it? Marker? In the comment. How about this? In your notes or in the comments, in the chat, let me know what is your favorite go-to font. Mine is a font called Brandon Grotesque, but I am becoming very kind of partial towards Knockout because that's what my designer, Stephen Overturf, used on the cover of my book, Butler Teacher Playbook. Hey, always plug. Okay, so let's choose. I could choose formal. I think decorative is it's very cursive-y. It's very fancy. I'm feeling fancy. I'm just going to go basic. I'm a basic guy. I'm a basic fella. So I'm just going to click that, and then we're going to roll over. That's the end of these. I've added my theme option, so I can click this X to get rid of it. It's not going to delete them. It's just going to change that. Okay, so we've done add-ons. We've done our palette. Now, this one I use a lot. This is one I use the most. This is your preview. This is how you can actually go look at what your form looks like for your user, for your student, for whoever's using it. I click on this. It creates a new tab, and this is what it looks like right now. This is great if anytime you're like, hey, I'm working on this Google form. You know what? I want to see what it looks like. Hit the eyeball. Bam. Preview. You can look at it. Another thing you can do is this is how you can share it with your students. Instead of going to send and then choosing who to send it to, you could go into this, grab this link, copy it, and then toss it in an email and be like, hey, do this. Do this. And then you can toss that link in there. Okay, it's just an easier way to grab that link. Preview links work fine. Now, here's what you're going to see is the difference between what you see when you do preview link and what others see. You ready? If I'm the student, I can't edit this form. When you send it to me, it looks like a traditional form. This is the only difference to know that you are the owner or you have access to that form. In the bottom right-hand corner, y'all see this? See, I can't, it won't let me zoom in. The bottom right-hand corner, do y'all see this? This little pin? That is editor view. So if you're ever in a Google form and you are allowed to edit that form, you can click here and it'll take you back to the editor view to where you can edit and change it, okay? They actually call it collaborators on Google Forms. I don't know why. Nobody knows. I mean, somebody probably knows. In the comments, in the chat, in your notes, tell me, what do you think they use collaborator for? What is your favorite collaboration? That's a better question. Who is your favorite collaboration? Mine's probably Childish Gambino and Chance the Rapper. If you don't know who those are, that's okay. Totally cool. Okay, so tell me your favorite collaboration. There was a meme going around a long time on the internet. It's like the best. It's like when Marvel paired up all the people. It's like name a better collaboration or name a better. If I'm forgetting it, tell me. I know somebody knows. Tell me in the chat, in the comments, what that is. Okay, so we're still going across. We hit preview. Now we're on settings. Now there's 3 options within these settings. So I'm going to click this. Bam. Okay, so in here now I'm rolling through. I check these settings every single time I go in and do any sort of form. Before I send it out, I always check these because if not, you are signing up to receive 30 to 2,000 emails saying, I don't have access or I can't access it or what is this? Always check these settings, okay? I'm going to go in here. I always like to collect email addresses automatically. And here's why. The reason is because nobody is good at typing their email address in. And then if you have it like send read receipts, or if it auto replies, or if you ever need to use anything to contact this person again, you will not be able to, because they've typed their email in wrong. And now you've got to go in and fix them not being able to type. This guarantee, it automatically pulls their email from what account they are logged into. Okay. Now there's an option here, and you can't see it because I'm not in a school account, but there's an option here usually when you're in a school account that says, it says something restrict to organization users. If you're an educator, you want to turn this on if you're sending it to your students. The reason is a lot of times students are signed into like their personal account, and they'll be like, oh, I'm signed on my personal account. And you'll get like, I don't know, like a cat baseball player 88 at gmail.com, or even worse at yahoo.com. I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you have a Yahoo account, get a Gmail. They're better. So restrict it to people in your organization. And then when you get the question, hey, I don't have access to it, it's because they're not logged into the correct account. That's it every single time. Now, if I'm sending this out to parents, I'm not going to restrict it to my organization, because the parents don't work for my organization. They don't have email addresses for my organization. This right here is response receipts. I like to turn this on. If it's a test you don't want to, or a quiz, because then the student now has access to all of their answers and they can just forward it to their buddy, and their buddy is going to ace the test. You don't want that. But if it's like somebody submitting something, or they're signing up for something, people like to know that it went through. And a lot of times they'll just email you and be like, hey, how do I know if I did this right? I don't know if I did. They'll fill it out 2 or 3 times. I always have it just send it an email automatically, unless it's a test or a quiz. Okay, so you can turn that off or on. Anytime you see this question mark, you can hover over that and it'll tell you exactly what that thing does. So let's leave it off. Actually, let's turn it on always. Now, it requires a sign in to do this next one, which we have it turned on. So like if I turn this off, watch, that probably goes away. Oh, no, wait, see? Respondents will be required to sign into Google. So either way, they're gonna have to give you an email address. I go ahead and knock them both on there. But this right here, this means that I can limit it to 1 response. This is for tests, quizzes. I don't want people taking it 4 or 5 times. However, if it's something I'm going to put in multiple times, or it's okay for them to put in multiple times, I'm going to take this off. That's up to you. Literally every time I create a form, I go through and hit all of these check boxes and see if they apply to me. Respondents can edit after they submit. If I have this generated into something, or if it's a quiz or a test, I'm not going to put this on here. If it is, let's say it's, hey, fill in your parents' contact information for the start of the year, I might turn it on, because if it changes, the parents can go in and change it in the form, and then that changes it in my results in my spreadsheet. See summary charts and text responses. I accidentally had this turned on one time when I was the project manager for our district, and I had all of my teachers, my mentor teachers and novice teachers, they were filling out forms, and I accidentally had this on, and it showed like the summary of chart of responses from it for like 2 seconds, and I changed it, but they can see it. This is if you're doing like a survey and you want to be transparent, you can show this so that people can see it as it goes. I very seldom have this turned on, but you may want to. All right. I would hit save if I'm done, but I'm not done yet. I want to go to presentation. This is, how does it look? How do people see it? I like showing progress bar. This only matters if you have multiple sections, which we're going to talk about in a later training. But if you have multiple sections of it to where it goes to the next page, go to the next page, then turn this on. If it's all in one thing, so it's like there's bam, 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 submit. You don't really have to turn on a progress bar, because it's like you're done after the first click. But that's how they divide out how many pages it is. If you're filling out like an application, a job application, a lot of times it's multiple pages. People want to see how much they have left, and that helps encourage them to finish. So it's a good one to have on if it's multiple pages. Shuffle question order. I'm going to tell you a warning on this one, guys. So listen, if you have all of your questions for a test and they're all, in there, it's okay to shuffle up where the questions are, okay? But keep in mind, if you write question 1, question 2, question 3, it's going to shuffle that too, Okay, so your numbers will get mixed up. And this is where I've seen some frustration. One of my facilitators one time, she was learning some Google stuff, and she wanted to do like a math, we're getting like, what do you know? Math like not a remediation, but like a check-in form. And she went to send it out, and she looked at it first, and she was really frustrated because she put a picture up and she had like 3 questions that referred to that picture. And it was like shuffling everything about. It's because this box was checked. And when it did that, it shuffled her photo and the questions. So it's like, refer to the photo above for this. There's no photo above because it shoved the photo down here at the bottom. If you have any of those where it's like not attached, but you want it to be like it needs to be attached to the one above it, make sure this is off. Okay. Now, if everything is like compartmentalized in its own questions, it's probably a good idea to shuffle the questions. And you don't really have to number them because, the way technology works, it's just going to sort it into the same columns for you afterwards. And then show link to submit another response. If it's a test or quiz, I don't want to show this. But if it is like, say I've got a computer out on a desk at open house and parents are coming in and they're filling in the information, I want to have this link to submit another response. That way the next person can just come in and click the link. Here's a little hack. This is the confirmation message. The default is your response has been recorded. Let's pretend this is a Chromebook. Parents are filling out a parent information form. And as soon as they get done, they hit submit. It's going to show this screen. It's going to say, thank you for submitting your information. Please click the link on this page. Click the link on this page to fill out a new form. You can give instructions here for parents to go in and do that. So it's like the next parent comes in, they see it, and they're like, oh, what is this? Read it. Oh, and I'll click the link. Also, you can put links in here. So I can say, get more resources, or, get more resources at, I always put the HTTP. I think you need to, if you're going to put in a link here, .com/resources. I can say targetacademy.com. So whenever they hit submit, this can be a link that goes to, hey, here's your next assignment. If you do a quiz for students, you could say, hey, after you finish this, great, go to your Google Classroom and follow up on any assignments you haven't submitted. And you can tell them to go do that later. Or you can say, hey, go here to this website and read 2 chapters. You can give next steps for students, parents, teachers, whoever's reading this next. You can give next steps right here on that page. Okay, last one. You ready? We're on the last of the settings. We hit quizzes. Default for these Google Forms is that it is not a quiz. It has no quizzing value on it. To unlock all of those beautiful quiz options, you turn this on. Now this has become a quiz. There will be grading. There will be feedback options. All those things are now in here because I turned this on. Now let's work our way down the quiz options. Now, this is one to think about based on, like, if you're giving this assignment to students, you need to think through, what do I want students to be able to do with this information? Immediately after each submission, if I'm doing a quiz or a test and I have this turned on and students go in and they click it and they take the test, I didn't give red receipts, any of that, but I let them see their grade immediately, they're going to know, oh, I didn't do well. And they can tell people. Another thing to think, let's say you have 10 multiple choice and that all auto grades, but then they have 1 essay. I would not let them see their grade immediately, because they might do great on the multiple choice, think they got 100, and then you go back and you grade their essay and they tanked it. And now you got to go back and be like, oh, just kidding, you didn't get an A, you got a D. Nobody wants to hear that. So if there's more to grade, or if you want to wait till all of your tests get submitted, you can go later after manual review. Now, let's say it is multiple choice and you're okay with students seeing their grade right after. Turn that thing on. Just think through, when do I want my students to see this, and what do I have in here before I let them see their grades? Now, this is the key. You can release the grade. Like, oh, I got an 85. Cool. That doesn't really give away a ton. This is where students can cheat, show their friends, whatever. This can lead to some academic discrepancies, if you will. So go here, missed questions. Do I want students to be able to see what questions they missed? It's a great question. If they're taking this first period and I have all these turned on so they can see missed questions, they see correct answers, and they see point values, they're going to be able to forward those results to the other classes. Even at the end of day one, even if you're like, no, I'm going to leave it off. As soon as you return all this stuff, they're going to be able to share with students that missed that day and are making up the test or the quiz. I'm not saying any of our students they would never, ever, ever do that. However, they could if they wanted to. So a lot of times you can turn this off, and turn this off, unless you hold everything for manual review. Give it a couple of days, and then you can send all of it back at once. They'll see feedback. They'll see missed answers. They can see all of it, which I know is great for parents that want to check in and make sure they understand what their child's doing and how they're doing. Okay, we hit save. It's going to save all three of these. Most everything in Google saves automatically. This one likes for you to hit save. So I'm going to hit save, and now I'm going to have the capability. You see up in the upper right now, it says total points, 4 points. So that's how many points I have thus far in this document. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to send. Moving over to the purple, we're on send. This is where you share it. Now, this can be confusing because when you share a Google Doc, when you hit share, it's a little bit different. Docs, sheets, and slides, when you hit share, you're adding them as view or editing or comment access. When you hit this, you are sending it as a form for people to fill it out. When I send it, if I sent this to my friend Matt Baxley, my boy, nope, M is Baxley M. Okay, I want to send it to my boy Matt. Now, when he gets this, it is going to be a form he is filling out. He is not an editor. He is not a collaborator. He cannot change this form. He is the student of this form. I can change the subject of the email. And then it's right now, if I sent this, it's going to be an email. Let's just do this. I can actually add myself in here so we can go and look at it. Okay. I invite you to fill out a form. I can include the form in the email. Okay. Now, this is also a place where I can add collaborators. Honestly, I bet Google added this part so that it clarified, oh, I'm not sharing this with people. Because it is, in my head, I'm like, hope I don't share this editing access with these students. No. They're wanting you to send this to your students. You can add collaborators here. There's another place to do it. I didn't mean to do that right there. I'm sorry. It ruins everything. Hit send. We're going to send it to me. Send it to that. I can send it to the whole class. If you have like a short link for your class, you can share it there. I recommend putting it in your LMS. Give it a hub. You can do both. If you have like a parent email group, this would be a great place to send it to. And I can include the form in the email. If you don't click that, it's just going to say, I've invited you to fill out a form. And it's going to have like a box they click and it takes them over to it. Let me tell you, give me a little hint on this. Let's say I want to send a survey out to parents. Okay. And this has happened to me sending stuff out to teachers. If I include the form in the email, yes, it's convenient. They can just go through and click it and then hit submit. However, it never fails. I have like a grammatical error, and there's always like a teacher that's like your grammar police, like unofficial grammar police. When I send it out and it's included in the email, and then a teacher comes back and be like, you used the wrong there, or you misspelled this, or what about this question? If you send that out, it's sent. It's like a PDF. It's like they're going to see what you sent originally. This is something I learned through experience, through failed experience, if you will. I like to not include the form in the email. And that way they get a button. So if that first teacher that's always on my email and gets back, it's like, you need to add a question about this, or you need to change this, you need to do this. Yeah. Whenever you do that, whenever you send that out, they're going to click the box. It'll take them to the form. If I change something after I send it out, if they have to click on it to go to the form, then it's going to be changed and updated automatically. Does that make sense? I'm going to say this better because I don't feel like I said that well. If I leave this box not checked, I can change this form at any time. And then when they click that box, they're going to see the updated form. If I click this box, they're going to see the Google form as I created it right now. So this unchecked gives you the option to change your form without having to resend emails. It'll click the box and go to it. Now, if they click the box and they fill out the form before you change it, they're only going to see what they saw whenever they clicked it the first time. I can click this and grab the link. Remember earlier when we clicked preview and grab the link? I can do the same thing here. I can take the long link or I can click shorten. Honestly, Google, I have a question. Why don't you just give me the short URL? Why do I have to go and shorten this thing? Why can't I just use the long URL or the short URL immediately? Like, I don't know why they give me two options. I don't know. If anybody, tell me, give me your best guess in the comments, in your notes. Why don't they just do the short link? Just tell me. There's got to be a theory out there. I could also click this and I can embed this Google form on a website, go to Google Sites. I can embed this anywhere that I want. I can share it to Facebook. I can share it to Twitter. You have options, okay? Now, keep in mind this. If you limit it to people in your organization and then you go throw it on Twitter, people aren't going to have access. You need to have open access. Sometimes it might not let people even access the form if they're not logged into their Gmail. So keep that in mind as well. I'm going to hit send. I'm sending it to myself. And then we're going to go take a look at it here in a second and see what that looked like. Actually, oh man, it's scary. Check my second do fast. Bam. Okay. This is what it looks like. I would click here. Fill out the form. Remember, I can change it at any point, and then they'll see the updated form. That's why I like sending it out like that. All right, now we're on to the ant with no legs. This is where you go to more. This is the second to last setting. Undo. That's a way if you type something in or you did something and you're like, oh, no, I need to fix that. Click this, undo. I use Command-Z because I use a Mac, and that's my undo. If you have a Chromebook or a Windows computer, you can hit Control-Z, and it'll undo that. Make a copy. So, like, if I have, let's see, if I hit, let's say I go here, and then I go to make a copy. I'm making a copy of this entire Google form. So I told you guys earlier, once you create like a template for like a lesson or a quiz or test, don't start from scratch every single time you do it. You've got all your settings. You've got everything set up. You've got your background. It's looking gorgeous. Go up here, hit make a copy, and then just make it like change the lesson, then go in and change all the test questions. Don't start from scratch whenever you're creating these Google Forms, okay? Next, move to trash. You want to delete this thing, go for it. That's how you do it. Get pre-filled link. You click this. What? I don't even know what this is. Oh, I could pre-fill the responses and then say get link. So I could type in a couple things, like say you want to send it up to one group at a time. You can go in and pre-fill some stuff for them. That way they know, or you could fill that out automatically and then let them fill in the last pieces as well. So that's pretty cool. I've never honestly used that, but that seems like it'd be pretty useful for people, especially if they need to segment out the groups, but they want everything to funnel into the same Google form. Okay. I can hit print. This way I could print out this Google form if I wanted to. I mean, sometimes you just make a Google form and you're like, I need this to look good. If you wanted to have paper copies of something, say you're doing, look at this. This looks pretty good. And what they do is they take the color out of it so that it's just a piece of paper. And then you can send this out to parents. Say you're doing like people are registering for classes. You've got it built in a Google form. You could go ahead and do this, print it out. People could do it by hand, have a paper option. So that's pretty cool. You could also save that as a PDF and then use it later. This, we talked about adding collaborators. This is the other place to add collaborators. I can go to send, add collaborators. Remember, this is a spot where I want to add people that can edit my document, okay? I can edit my document. I can go in, I can choose access for different people. I can make them the owner. I can make them the editor. I can change it. Anyone on the internet can view the link. I can change this. These are where my options are with regards to who can view this. If I was signed into a school account, I could say that's going to give me one more option, which will be restricted, anyone with a link, and then my school account will say restrict to people in this network. So that's a safeguard against people getting it from anywhere. So that's what that is. Hey, fun fact, my buddy Zach Knapp, he gave me a great tip of something that he does with pre and post tests. He'll create the pre-test, and then whenever he's ready for the post-test, he'll go in, click this, make a copy, title it the exact same thing, and then put post-test. That way you can compare from the original time they took it, take the exact same test and make it that post test. Thank you, Zach, for that info. That's solid advice. Zach is the man. Go to script editor. I've never used this, but this is where you would go in and you could edit script on it. A lot of people that look at doing stuff with add-ons or really developing this, they would go into this app script and do some stuff. I'll tell you this, it's way above my mental capacity at this moment. But if you know anybody in the comments, if you know anybody that's good at app script or ways that you've used app script, let us know in the comments in the chat or in your notes if that's interesting to you. Maybe look at Googling that, finding some sources that do that. Add-ons, this is, we've got the add-on spot here, or I can go here to add-ons. Sorry. And then I can go in and find add-ons. If you don't have any add-ons for Google, Autocrat is great. It's going to pop up these are the ones that are most popular. I know my friend Leanne uses Certify them, gives like a certificate. You get here's a couple notifications that you can turn on. Choice Eliminator is a great one. I've used it. Like say you're doing a potluck and you want people to bring different foods. You can list different options for foods people could bring. You could turn on Choice Eliminator. And then what it does is it's going to, if I select, I'm going to bring the meatloaf. Mom, the meatloaf. I'm bringing the meatloaf. As soon as someone selects it, now it's going to take them off of that. And it's going to only show the options outside of it. So that's a great one. Play around with these forms, these add-ons. See if there's any that you like and you could toss in that can add you value in your classroom. All right. And then the last one we go to is preferences. These are, honestly, it's similar to your default settings. So this is where I can change my form's default settings. I can turn it on where the default is. It collects email address. Oh, that dog is attacking me. Wow. Oh, it's an attack dog. It's a sheepadoodle. They're pretty dangerous. In the chat, in the comments, in your notes, tell me, do you have a dog and what kind of dog do you have? And I'd love to know their name. So I can set it to where every question is automatically required. I can also set the default quiz point value. So I could say, you know what? Almost every question is worth 5. That's my starting point. This is great to do, especially if you're creating forms frequently. Now, again, if you're doing what I said and that you're making one template and then you're making copies of it, it would kind of save as your default. But here's where you would go in and save those default settings for all of your Google Forms. The last thing up here in the upper right, this is your account that you're signed into. I can click this and I can go and switch between my Google accounts. If you have a student or a teacher that's like, I don't have access, I can't get access, they got to click right here and log into the correct account. This is where we swap between accounts. Whew. This is good. This is a good section. This is good. This is what I call like kind of your toolbar, your settings for that. We went all the way across. Something to think about is what settings do I want default to become default for me as I use Google Forms and as I grow in it. And it's okay if that changes and it grow and like adapts and you get better with like next steps after it's submitted, or if you have stuff that's attached to different groups. So find the settings that work for you. And I think that it is super, super helpful for any educator to use. So thank you guys for tuning into this section. We're going to roll into some more sections later. And as always, tarveracademy.com. I got resources for you. And I appreciate you guys. Y'all stay clean, y'all stay classy, and never stop learning. See you guys.